TaxAct continues to position itself as a premier tax software, so that's why in this video we are going to be covering the TaxAct software for 2023 to file your 2022 tax return. Hey, what's up guys? It's Justine with the College Investor, Investing and Personal Finance for Millennials. Now, we've been reviewing tax software for years and years. And as I've been going through this, walking through the tax software from various companies, TaxAct continues to stand out. And this year they made some major improvements. One big improvement that they made, and they really try to compare themselves to TurboTax, and TurboTax is like the premier tax software. It's also the most expensive. Now, TaxAct undercuts that and they're slightly cheaper. This year they added a feature where they have the Xpert Assist feature, which is where you get access to a tax professional no matter which tier you fall in. If you do the simple filing for free, or deluxe, premier, or self-employed, you get access to that as included as part of their pricing point. Speaking of pricing, let's go ahead and talk about what's free and what isn't. Okay, as I mentioned before, they really like to compare themselves to TurboTax because they want to position themselves as a premier tax software. So their pricing menu actually looks very similar to TurboTax. You're going to see this free version here, and the free version really is just for simple filers only. So we're talking about a simple W-2 income, maybe you have some unemployment income, Social Security income, and then you can take dependent deductions, but really that's it. That's all you really get inside of this free version. You get that child tax credit, stimulus credit, all that good stuff. Anything beyond that, if you were to maybe have some dividend or interest income from various investments, then you're going to be bumped up into the deluxe version, which we can see a lot of people actually falling into the deluxe version, which is priced at $46.95. And you'll see they'll actually include the TurboTax price right underneath. And I did check this against TurboTax. Let's check this out. We go to TurboTax. So yeah, the TurboTax pricing says $59 for deluxe, $89 for premier, and that's exactly what TaxAct has stated, and then they've slightly undercut that. So a discount of about $12 for the deluxe version. Then you'll see the premier listed at $70. So this would work best for those who have investments that they need to report. And then if you're self-employed, this is listed at $94.95. The state is going to be additional of $54.95. When I compare that to TurboTax, TurboTax was actually listing their state filing at $49. What's cool about this though is that if you are a Rakuten user and you have that as part of your Google Chrome, you can activate a 5% cash back on whatever option you choose. You're going to see some new tax provisions such as the 1099-K, and you're going to see that kind of across the board no matter what tax software that you choose, because these are just new tax laws and new tax initiatives that are coming through for the new year. And you're also going to see the tax brackets differ a little bit as those tax brackets have changed for 2023 due to the inflation and the state of the economy. But again, if we're talking about that new Xpert Assist feature, a lot of tax software actually charge premium and charge extra for a tax pro to review your return before it's filed, and they're actually including this as part of their price. So I think that's a really excellent value for what you're getting with TaxAct. The thing that lags behind TurboTax is that TaxAct just doesn't have the integrations with the various companies or investment components, such as if you wanted to report any earnings that you might have earned from an investment off of Betterment or M1 Finance. It's very easy to integrate those things within TurboTax because they have the software linked up, whereas TaxAct, the integrations just aren't there. Okay, let's go ahead and just do a simple walkthrough of the software, and I'll show you what TaxAct looks like on the inside. Once you have made an account and you've logged in, this is the basic dashboard of what it looks like on the inside for TaxAct. So it actually has a very similar feel to TurboTax in the regard that there's this left-hand menu nav here that shows you the basic sections. You're gonna have your personal info, your federal return, your state return, and then the review and filing. All of these tools are right here. I like to see that the Help Center was already automatically pulled up so that I can quickly search for things. Talk to an expert for free. We talked about that. So I'm glad to see that this button is right here. And screen sharing, let's take a look at this. Enter the 6-digit security key given to you by the expert. That is awesome. So if you are wanting to do like a chat with a tax expert, and instead of typing out exactly what you see, you can just share your screen. That is really helpful. I love that. So let's just work this top to bottom and we'll kind of go through this together. So you're going to enter your personal information. I think this is pretty straightforward. We'll do. Now I'm just going to be typing in dummy information here. We'll say Phyllis. If you know, you know. Okay, tell us about your family. Did you financially support anyone else? No. Tell us about where you live. Okay. Let's keep going through this. I like that they had a little review of, hey, this is what you said. Here's our filing recommendation. Married, filing jointly. Do you want to change your status to married, filing separately? You may not qualify for as many deductions and credits if you change your filing status. Cool. All right, federal quick Q&A topics. How would you like to proceed with the federal Q&A portion of your return? Select topics myself. Wow. All right, so under federal, you can see all the various major sections of your tax return, starting with income, then your deductions and credits, other tax situations, miscellaneous, and then the summary. So you can go in here and then add your W-2. See if I go back. All right, so if I was to go in here, okay, so if you go into this W-2, then you can go ahead and start filling out in sections what is printed on your W-2. And I wonder, as I'm going through all of this, okay, if we were gonna add a W-2 for Phyllis, so it does look like if you have a W-2 in TaxAct, I did not see a place where I could automatically upload. Let's see. W-2. Yeah, I don't see an area where I could upload the W-2. Upload W-2? I don't see that. Okay, so it does look like you have to manually enter in things, whereas when I was reviewing TurboTax, you could just upload the PDF, which would save you a ton of time. Not to mention save you from errors that you might put from manually typing in things. But as you go through this, it's going to do this Q&A guidance. So you have enter contributions for a health savings account. Would you like to complete the Q&A for additional information regarding your HSA? Sure. Contributions were made to Bob's HSA. Continue. Family coverage. Eligible for the entire year. Yes. And let's say we contributed $5,000. Types of HSA contributions. Let's see if I click this I button, pops open this little pop-up box that kind of tells you what the contribution types are. Employer contributions. Let's hit continue. So pre-tax contributions of $5,061. Additional tax, excess contributions to health savings account. Were contributions to HSA more than is allowable, or were there excess contributions? And no. Okay, now we're back to this menu. So what's interesting about TaxAct is that I keep going back to this select topics myself instead of them kind of guiding me through all of the sections, regardless or not if my tax situation pertains to each of the section. So I almost feel like I kind of have to click and pick which one I want. I don't know. I think for me, I would rather have them guide me through all of the sections so that I know for sure I've marked everything off my list. I'm a type A kind of person, so I feel like if you're a type A person and you want to be sure that you didn't miss anything, I would almost rather like go through the whole guidance than coming back to this menu and kind of picking and choosing myself. Let's look at the recovery rebate credit. Did you receive the third stimulus payment? Yes. Say it was $1,200 and $1,200. Good news, we found a recovery rebate credit worth $400. We'll add this credit amount directly to your refund. So if I was to go through income, so if I go back to income, you can see the W-2 that I already put in for Bob, and then any additional income topics that I would want to go ahead and report. All of this stuff, it looks like I can go ahead and review, take a look at. And here's where I can see the actual form names, like the 1099 div form or form 5471. I mean, if these things pertain to you, then you could go ahead and add. The 1099 div is a pretty common one if you have investments. And here's where enter your div information exactly as it appears on the form or follow our step-by-step process for more help and guidance. Let's see what the step-by-step guidance looks like. Okay, let's say it's from Betterment. Bob, let's say ordinary dividends of $342, qualified dividends of $342. Okay, then you can go through your capital gains and distributions, any foreign tax paid, exempt interest dividends. Okay, so this is really walking you through like section by section of that particular form. Okay, so if I have that in there, no foreign trust, no foreign accounts. All right, then that gets added to income. So if I click back on income, I almost feel like going back to this section here is going to help. The only thing about this though too is that the additional income topics, I almost wish they had in parentheses what different forms fall under each of these categories. As somebody who is not a CPA or tax professional, I'd want to know that, because if I have a stack of either digital tax documents or right here on my desk, then I wouldn't know automatically that 1099 div is part of my taxable interest income section. So it almost feels like I got to click around to make sure that gets filed. Let's head over to deductions and we'll show you the deductions. So we can see that the deductions that I took as part of this fake summary is the standard deduction, and then any additional deduction topics. So you can click through here and do like the health savings account deduction. Let's click on that because I did say I had that. Contributions. And yes, this is something that we already did through. So if I go back to the summary page here, almost feels like I got to click on deductions on the left-hand menu. Then there was no additional deductions as part of that contribution. Let's go to IRA deduction. IRA contributions indicate which type of IRA contributions you or your spouse made. Let's say we did contributions towards a Roth, and let's say we did a max contribution of $6,000. We're maxing out the Roth. So TaxAct so far not as user-friendly as TurboTax, I have to say. It feels like I kind of repeat the same windows over and over. Okay, next topic. All right. So if you had any other deductions, then here's where you would click on review and go into that particular form. Go through the motions, answer the questions, then you move on to the next thing. let's move forward to credits. So if we have the federal income tax withheld, the recovery rebate credit, which they told us about before, that's already been applied. Any additional credit topics, here's where we can go in and see exactly what we could potentially get a credit back on. For most people who have children, especially child and dependent care expenses is going to be a big one, or a child tax credit for other dependents, that's also going to be a big one. The earned income credit, let's go through here. Do any of the following situations apply to you? I or my spouse spent more than half the year living outside the U.S., non-resident, I don't have a social security number, cannot be claimed this year, none of the above. Do you have any earned income adjustments? These are not common. Receive wages, treatise, nope. Do you have any qualifying children for the earned income credit? Sometimes a child may be a qualifying child for the earned income credit without being claimed as a dependent on your return. Interesting. No, you don't qualify for the earned income credit. Good thing I checked. So there's how you go through the credits and see, okay, do I really qualify for any of this stuff? You could review. Obviously, some of the names are going to be more intuitive. Foreign tax credit. If you spent all of your working time in the US for the year, then you're probably not going to be eligible for anything like that. Okay, so that's a look at the credit section. Let's look at the taxes. Based on what you've told us here, the tax topics that apply to you. Additional tax topics. Okay, any additional tax topics are listed here, and then if we go over to the miscellaneous, these are kind of the other tax situations that could potentially be part of yours. So 2022 estimated tax payments, injured spouse relief, combat zone. I feel like most of the time people are not going to be part of this miscellaneous group, but it is here. And again, everything is kind of listed as these are the subsections of the miscellaneous major section. Here's where you go in to review these types of forms. And then anytime you click on review, it's going to take you through this Q&A guidance. So that is helpful in that regard. If I go down to summary, this is what it's going to tell you. In this instance, it's giving me a federal refund and a state refund based off of what I entered. Obviously, this is just fake information that I'm putting in there. Yours very well is going to be different. But I do like that they give you a quick summary of everything as to how this was calculated, what you got in credits and payments, what ways you reduced your taxable income. So I think this does a really nice job of showing you how everything was calculated and put together. I'm going to click continue, and then it's going to take you through the state filing situation. So basically they're going to take as much of that information over to the state side and then ask you state-specific questions. So your federal data is successfully transferred to your California forms to help maximize state credits and deductions, save you time, ensure accuracy. Do you want to complete your California return? Add your state for only $54.95 more. I'm sure you're probably going to wrap this up into the same tax software, so then you can go through and pick the go through the Q&A for your specific state. Let's just go through to review. Click review. And then it's going to double check, and good thing these warnings came about because I did not actually fill out the state return in its entirety. So it does flag you. Let's see, run the review. Awesome. So because I didn't fill out everything, it actually flagged it. And then we can see exactly what we need to double check in the alerts that they flagged for us. Again, I really like that there's this tax expert here listed at $0 so that you can talk to a tax expert for free. And then it's going to, wow, tax advice. Is your return complete? No. State. this gets really specific here. I love this. So that's a look at how you could plug in the Xpert Assist to see if there was something on here that you had questions about. That's a look at inside of TaxAct. So is TaxAct worth it? I mean, there are some pros and cons to this one. However, the way that it's priced and for what you get, I mean, maybe you might be better off with just going for the premium with TurboTax, or even considering something like H&R Block that are going to give you those integrations and just have that better user experience. So if you are looking for something that you already can DIY, you've done your tax returns for years, but you just want something that's decently priced, then you might be better off looking at something like TaxHawk or TaxSlayer to just jump in, get it done, and also not pay a whole bunch. However, on the opposite side of that, if you really want that question and answer guidance, but also that user experience that is really going to feel like you're confident in what you are doing, answering the questions and filing those returns, then you might want to take a look at TurboTax or H&R Block. Don't forget, we have complete walkthroughs and reviews of all the latest tax software available in 2023 for you to file your tax return. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up so we know that other people have access to these types of reviews, and we'll catch you in the next one.